Salam alaikum. Can you see my slides? Can you hear my voice first? Okay, so salam alaikum. Hello everyone. I hope you're doing well. So, as you know, today we're gonna talk about the design sprint. I don't know what idea you had in mind when you first hear that term, but for me, my thoughts goes directly to design thinking and even the Agile sprint. So today, and in this presentation, we're gonna define what a design sprint is and how we can use it in our project. But before that, let me introduce myself. I'm Leila Habib, a fourth-year student in the Higher School of Computer Science in Sidi Bel Abbas, Algeria, and also a DSC ZSBA lead. Talking about DSC or Developer Student Club, I will let you with a small video that introduces what DSC ZSBA is.
It's one of the Google communities that help students to bridge the gap between theory and practice through workshops and study jam, based in the Higher School of Computer Science in Sidi Bel Abbas, Algeria.
Okay, so as you saw, the Developer Student Club is one of the Google communities that helps students to bridge the gap between theory and practice. And what makes that club special is by hosting the Solution Challenge. You may be wondering, what the Solution Challenge Club? Well, I can say that it's the key component of how DSC have to bridge that gap. So it's an annual global competition where DSCs from across the globe submit their builds on an address local problem around them. So all what you have to do is to collect a team and identify a problem. And as a part of this community, I invite every single person here to go ahead and register in the solution challenge. Till the deadline is still April 30. And as you know, every challenge has winner. And our 10 winner, yes, I mean 10 groups, each one up of 4 members has a chance to go to the Google office to present their demo day. In a demo day, there's that chance. Go ahead and register in the solution challenge. Now, returning to our aim subject. Well, if you are a designer, a developer, or even a businessman in any project or any service, the term design is related and necessary. Let me add the speed of conception and even updating. So that's why people start wondering if there are possibility that the design process execute everything as fast as possible. So here they start organizing stuff by drawing this circle. Yes, and here most product team have to go through it. First, building something, go through the trouble of launching it, then putting in the hands of user, learning from each user, of course, and try to make an idea that can improve the product. Then repeat all those steps over and over and over until they can make it. Sure, you've noticed this is incredibly time-consuming and so expensive process. Such a waste of time and money at the same time. Huh? So What if we could shorten this cycle to something look like this? What do you think, guys? Would it be better? Well, it must be better because from here starts and pop up the idea of design sprint. Well, the design sprint is a proven methodology for solving problems, designing, prototyping, and testing idea with users, of course. The design sprint quickly aligns teams under a shared vision with a clearly defined goal. It is a tool for developing hypotheses, prototyping an idea, and testing it rapidly. Was developed at Google from a vision to grow the UX culture and the practice of design leadership. And of course, nothing is well done without a great preparation. So, preparing for design sprint is as important as running the sprint itself. The length of time for your design sprint will be based on the goal and the need of your team. Sprint can range from 1 to 5 days. So planning and preparing ensure the best use of time. So try to prepare for it as much as you can. And of course, you should take at least one full day planning for each day that you have to sprint. Okay? So full day for each sprint day, at least. This act, so what to prepare? You have to identify the challenge. And here, to keep the team focused on the problem trying to solve. For example, redesign the user flow to increase conversation. Then try to collect a team from 5 to 7 people. Try to make diversity in your team. I mean, including UX designer and user researcher and even developers. Why not? Try to make an agenda for each day so that you can do everything in an organized way. Then find the right space. Remember, creativity sparks in space full of light and have available places for working. So try to choose the right space. And last and not the least, of course, gather your supplies. Try to prepare your pens, papers, stick notes, everything that you need in your sprint days. Now, the design sprint phases. Well, it's follow C phases. Understand and define, sketch and decide, prototype and validate. First, we aim to understand our problem and also the user who's facing that problem. Next, sketch and decide. For this step, we're going to ideating an idea using pictures. And of course, don't worry if you're not an artist. Everything is gonna be just okay, just fine. Sorry. So, and try to decide on which idea is best as a team. Lastly, we prototype and validate. By the way, this exercise is usually done with the project team and the user researcher. exercise is usually done with the product team over the course of 5 days. But we're going to sprint through it in a few minutes, kind of small workshop. So the point of this workshop is to help us actually solve a problem. Let's say this is the problem we want to solve. It's how to buy a hat and glasses virtually and ensure that they look and feel good while being worn. So, in the first step of solving this problem, we will try to identify the user and map out their problems. Then, we should take two pieces of papers and a marker. Together, we will draw a picture of your user, of course, and give them a name. Yeah, this is actually important because it helps you communicate about the persona. Then, write down a few characteristics that will have to define them as a user. I repeat, in this phase, the team evaluate everything they learned in the first phase of understanding phase to establish the focus. This done by defining specific context and the desired outcomes of potential solution. Moving to the other part, sketch. Here we'll do the crazy eight. Remember the crazy eight. Who has an idea about crazy eight here? Huh? So each member of the team should take a piece of paper and fold it up, as you see in the picture here. So each member should write an idea down in each rectangle. If you can notice, we have 8 rectangles, so we are going with 8 idea. Generally 8 idea. That's why it's called the crazy eight. When you're generating those idea and writing them down, try to keep in mind that the problem, try to keep in mind the problem and the user, of course, but be sure to write down any idea that comes to your mind. This will have to keep the creativity. So to sum up, the team generate and share a range of ideas as an individual. Here, start looking for the inspiration, of course. Moving to the next part, here, put all the idea down on table. It's time to vote. We will use the dot voting here. Each member can vote as many as he wants. As you can see, there are too many dots here, so that's why we call it dot voting. Each member can vote about as many ideas as he can. For example, the first member take the black color, so he votes for this one and this one, etc. So the idea with the most votes will win, of course. Here we finalize the direction to be prototyped, and the team will find with a single idea to go through decision-making exercise. Moving to this part, now we have an idea. It's time to prototype it as a team. You should decide what the different view in the product should be. Then draw them out with a marker and a paper. Try to use any app to string them together into a usable, testable prototype. Try to make it just real enough to validate. That means mapping out the exact flow for the experience and only building the step you want to test. There is no need to build a full functional backend. So as you can see here, by the way, this is one of the prototyping tools. Of course, it's not the only one. You can use any other, such as Keynote, Sketch, Envision, etc. So try to string them together in one prototyping tool. So now moving to the last part, which is testing and validate. You put it in front of the user, and here the moment of truth. You will gather feedback from users who interact with your prototype. You will end up with a validate concept or not. Either way, you've made the progress. Huh? So how you can know whether your prototype is validate or no? I prefer to ask yourself a bunch of questions and try to note them. I mean, a full percentage or 50-50, or I don't know. And now you can know whether your idea, your prototype is validate or no. So As I said first, in fact, the original design sprint takes about 5 days. Each day represents a part. So, sprint takes a team from a formulated challenge to a realistic prototype. By the end of Friday, you will get an answer from the interviews with the real customers who engage. So, I will try to let you with a video, that small video, of course, that will introduce you in a few minutes what design sprint.
Hi, I'm Jake from GV, and this is a super fast intro to our sprint process. The big idea with the sprint is to build and test a prototype in just 5 days. It's kind of like fast forwarding into the future so you can see how customers react before you go to all the time and expense of building a real product. Every sprint starts with a big challenge, a team of about 7 people, and a clear calendar. On Monday, you'll create a map of the problem and choose one specific target. On Tuesday, you'll create solutions to your problem. But instead of a shout out loud group brainstorm, you'll work alone to sketch detailed competing solutions. On Wednesday, you'll pick the best solutions. Instead of endless debate, you'll use a structured decision-making process. On Thursday, you'll build 1, 2, or even 3 realistic prototypes. These prototypes are just a facade of a finished product. You can use tools like Keynote, Marvel, and InVision to create fake apps and websites. Or to quickly prototype hardware, you can use a 3D printer or modify an existing product, or just prototype the marketing materials. Finally, on Friday, you'll test your prototypes in 5 one-on-one customer interviews. You'll find obvious patterns. Some solutions will work, but some won't. Either way, you'll have clarity about what to do next and a great start on that big challenge. To learn more, check out our book, Sprint. It's got detailed hour-by-hour instructions, and it's packed with stories about startups like Slack and Medium and Flatiron Health. Good luck with your sprint, and thanks for watching.
So I advise every single person to go ahead and read that book. It's a very interesting book about design sprint. So after taking a general idea about what a design sprint, let's go in details. Speed details, of course. I mean, in real design sprint, what you have to do in the real design sprint, what you have to do in each day. So let's say we will start in Monday. So there will be here you will frame the problem. However, there will be a plenty of uncertainty around what the solution might be on the best approach. That's why is it essential that the team takes the time to understand the problem context and all available information. So by the end of the first day, they will have a clear focus about their idea and identify the area of the challenge where the solution would make. Then would make the most impact without forgetting to choose the target audience. Moving to the second day, here, each member of the team will come up with a list of products or service during the sprint. Then they will have about 3 minute demo explaining what's cool about their idea and about what they come up. Then passing to the 4-step sketch. What are those 4 steps? First, to note. Noting is gather the key information such as the long-term goals, mapping, etc. The second one is the idea, by making a simple diagram. That would take about 20 minutes. Then the crazy 8 that we talked about previously, try to make it in only 8 minutes. By the end of the day, we pass to the solution sketch to review and discuss it. Moving to the next day, Wednesday. Here, the team will critique each solution and decide which one is the most likely to achieve. To achieve what? Of course, to achieve the long-term goals. Then the team will imagine the finished prototype. Of course, the next step will be prototyping. So the team will start building the prototype. We don't need a real product, but just need it to appear to be real. So since we want a real reaction from user. And remember, you have to fake it until you make it. Finally, it's Friday. The team will interview the customer and learning from their reaction. And you may be wondering, of course, how many person I have I should interview? Well, the answer is five. Five is the perfect number because remember, as many people you add, as many challenges and problems you will face. So five is just perfect. So at the end, your team will get together and find patterns from the interview and try to make a plan about what to do next. Well, by the end of the slide, I arrived at the end of my presentation. Personally, design sprint, I found design sprint like something cool to organize our time and even it's equal and fair opportunity between members. So each member have a clear idea about what he have to do. Then 5 days is really less time comparing about how many time we used to waste in our project. So that was all. Thank you so much everyone for being here and don't forget to fill the feedback so you can get certificate and join the MENA Digital Days Challenge. Thank you so much everyone. Salam.